Thank you so much for inviting me to come and share. Can I move this down so I can see you guys? Okay. Well, I was born in Poland during communism, and actually going to church was kind of forbidden during that time, but my family was very Catholic, and they pretty much were very faithful churchgoers, as most of Poland at that time. Most people would go to church because it was also a way to kind of show opposition to what was going on politically in the country. So the Catholic tradition was very deeply rooted kind of in the fabric of society, and so growing up early on, I knew that being Polish was being Catholic. That was just a thing. My dad was a research scientist, and even though it was kind of unusual under communism to travel abroad, he had opportunities to do some research and study abroad. And when my dad actually was teaching at University of Arizona, my mom's sister and I were allowed actually to leave Poland to join him for Christmas. And I know that without a shadow of a doubt, that was a miracle that God had orchestrated. We came to the U.S. Just like on a short 3-month visa, and really never intended to stay, but there were extenuous circumstances with my dad's job in Poland, and so we actually had no choice but to stay in the U.S. I was not prepared for that at all emotionally. We left our family and all our friends, and I really never had a chance to say goodbye. And I didn't want to stay. It was kind of a lonely and difficult time period for me. The geography in Tucson felt like I was living on the moon. I couldn't speak the language. I couldn't relate to the foreign culture. That was just so much materialism everywhere. I didn't get it. So I coped actually by kind of hiding myself in Polish historical novels, and then I discovered that the format of the Catholic Mass was exactly like it was in Poland. The language was different. So going to Mass became kind of like a way for me to connect to my past. So in a way, my identity kind of started being woven with being Catholic. And after I graduated college, I started a job as an engineer, and at that point, I was a very confident and proud Catholic. And I really believed that I had life figured out. And honestly, I kind of would feel sorry for everybody who wasn't a Catholic. And I just thinking that they just need to be enlightened. So shortly after moving to California for my job, I met Cabot, and God has a funny sense of humor, you know how. So anyway, he brought Cabot into my life, and Cabot was kind of like a Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way, except he was not Catholic. So it became evident early on that he was not going to follow me like a puppy to the Catholic Church, no matter how much I tried to enlighten him. He was not buying it. So, as we began to date, we had to kind of figure out this church thing. So we compromised. We would go Saturday night to Mass, and then Sunday morning to the Free Church. We were actually interested in reading the Bible, and we started a Bible study. We gathered weekly for dinner with 15 other young professionals who also were curious about the Bible, but were as lost as we were when it came to Bible knowledge. So we affectionately called this time Blind Leading the Blind. It was like a great Bible study, but nobody knew what we're talking about. When we got engaged, the pastor at Cabot's mom's church did our premarital counseling and eventually ended up marrying us. And he was a free church pastor, and we had the blessing from the sanction of the Catholic Church. So it counted with the Catholic Church too, and that was actually a way to honor my parents. So things were going really swimmingly for us until they weren't. A few months into our marriage, the ground under my feet started quaking. Turns out that being strong-willed, selfish, and insisting on always being right are not winning attributes towards a successful marriage. So back we went to the pastor. I mean, like, he married us. Surely he can fix us. So he actually recommended that we learn about the faith that we professed, and he suggested that we join Bible study fellowship. So it was in this group, while studying the Bible, that I realized something revolutionary. And I came home to Cabot, and I said, Cabot, I know why we're constantly fighting. We are sinners. Like, okay, I never got that. I've gone to church all my life. I never got that. So God really used our marriage to show me the desperate need that I had that I could not meet. I needed Jesus to rescue me. When I agreed with God about my sin and accepted God's way of being made right through Jesus, I received his forgiveness, and God began to change my heart. God's forgiveness was instantaneous, but the change in my life and in our life kind of happened over a course of time. Slowly, the rough edges started to smooth out, and we learned to apologize and forgive and extend grace to one another. I still struggle with sin, but the hold and power of sin has been broken. I'm quicker to admit I was wrong, quicker to forgive, and I don't insist on having my way all the time. Our marriage is thriving, and I know that I know that Cabot and I would not have the family we have or even stand here today if it was not for the grace of Jesus in our lives. The grace that broke the power of sin and gave us hope for new life. So thank you.